Hello everyone, this is Erik Vollstadt. I'm the lead ambassador of the BitNation Ambassador Network, and I want to share a few words about how I began this journey and how I found out about BitNation and what I think the Ambassador Network could help in the mission of BitNation. So, more, let's say, political, ideological point of view of being an anarchist and time for possible solution on how to implement my ideas. My type of ideas were just talking and talking and talking, but didn't actually do things in real life to change something in the world. Having found out about BitNation, I felt like this is the first project that could actually help to create this type of society that I want to see in the world. And this meme by Cody Wilson showed me that basically, instead of just having to go through a political career and trying to change things from inside of the system, you could also just use software and the tools that the internet is giving us. Build a new paradigm and to make it actually makes it. So, yeah. In the first moment, I realized that BitNation project to implement our ideas into today's existing world without having to go through the political realm. Yeah, so one of the first moments that I heard about BitNation was regarding to the World Citizenship, which was piloted with Janina Lois. I found out that in order to become world citizen, you don't need to actually have to have a world government or an institution which administers all of this. Claim your own world citizenship by using blockchain technology. You can see in this example, you have everything that you need to identify a human being. Moreover, not so much a matter of administration and bureaucracy, but much more of identity. And you, instead of feeling local tribe, artificial borders on a map on as a result of slavery and centuries of politics between monarchs and governments. As a member of this planet that you're born on, using the BitNation platform, you can actually already implement and live the idea without having to ask for permission by world government. Having seen this with the blog to help BitNation to spread the word and to ideas into various languages, to interview several spokespersons of BitNation and to get a more ample idea of what all of this is about. Seeing all the multiple ideas and ideologies, I found out that it's not just my idea that could be implemented, it could be anyone's idea. Actually, BitNation is not representing any ideology or something like that. It's moreover a tool to give to people so they can implement their ideas of how an ideal society should look like and to offer it to others without having to claim a geographical territory or anything like that. So instead of having wars over land, offer services to people and people voluntarily to join you for the beliefs and for the things that you represent, instead of just being forced to accept your services on the fact that you were born in an arbitrarily drawn line of waters. So yeah, starting with this blog, I pushed out different articles. I started to see like, okay, the ambassador network is much more just a few people. We started to accept people like without going through a central hierarchy or anything like that. People could just claim to be ambassadors and to just start their own projects in the name of BitNation. And that's actually what the whole idea of BitNation is all about, that you yourself choose what you want to do and what you want to implement in the world, and we help you to do this. So what these ambassadors represent are goodwill ambassadors. So they're unofficial, or they are informal official representatives of BitNation, who go to events, who present and who give interviews and help refugees, for example, stateless people, people in emerging markets. But yeah, all of these things are more in a, let's say, public relations matter. But a few of these examples are quite interesting. For example, Tetsuo Ishii, who's our Japanese ambassador, is trying to help, or is trying to use BitNation to implement decentralized marriages in the world. That BitNation could, for example, help gay couples to marry in countries where it's prohibited. Yeah, I will just quote him because I think he made a quite good remark. Money. It is there for brand new governance structures replacing the nation-state concept from the Napoleon era. Digital nomads like me know that national borders are imaginary. Our activities are global, but most governance systems are still for locals only. So him being a digital nomad, you see that our nation-state governance system is not fit for people who live an international lifestyle. And something like BitNation is more apt to offer these kind of people the services that they need. And yeah, like Tetsuo also remarked, the government marriage system is one of the most obsolete systems today. Marriage is a very personal matter, but it's being enforced by governments, and laws are so different in every country. So yeah, you could be an international gay couple, and you would have problems with the different sets of laws in the countries that you come from, like be it in Russia or be it in any conservative country. So instead of going through all this bureaucracy, you could just choose to marry on the public ledger, on the blockchain, and to declare your marriage as being valid through the people that support this ledger, instead of having to hope for the permission of your masters. So another of our ambassadors, Pedro Rivera, he claimed that I want to create tools that people can use to manage themselves as society. The conventional law-based system is very weak for the society we live in nowadays. People with enough money or intelligence can manipulate and use it against society, as we have seen many times. He himself comes from Colombia, times how the political system is being corrupted through lobbyism, through multinational corporations, through the influence of foreign countries. So yeah, instead of having hope for some proxy or for some wise rulers to take over society, you could just create the tools to change the things that you want to change in society. Another important problem in our world is the situation of people with bad passports. One of our ambassadors, Christoph Feuermann, realized who by 25 or by 30, I think. Passports are by no means necessary. Apartheid condemns millions of people to stay in their impoverished, document by governments. So, of course, we're still in an early stage, but ideally, BitNation world citizens could also travel with the citizenship that they get from us. And yeah, bad passports are blocking people from so many things, from accessing financial markets, from opening up the company that they always wanted to open up, because In many third world countries, there's no way to access credit markets or no way to even have ID or a bank account to do all of these things. And using a BitNation ID, they start to launch their projects and to use like tokens and incorporation to fulfill their dreams. Lastly, our ambassador in Ghana, Africa, Kofi, also titles because of cumbersome process and corruption. Decentralized land and administration accessible to everyone is what is needed. And the blockchain offers that very cheap. Sooner than later, the state is going to become obsolete. So in Ghana, we have another problem with land titles. Basically, the government is not very good at administering these land titles in Ghana, and it's causing a lot of conflict there. Registering land deeds on the blockchain could actually help to maintain peace, and people are just whose farm belongs to whom or which territory could be used for what purpose. So you could really reduce transaction costs and actually between these people by just putting their GPS coordinates on a. Of course, you would also have to verify that this land is also pertinent to these people. I think in the long run, we can help to maintain territories. Apart from the ambassadors, I also gave people the embassies where people can live and work together. So people can open up embassies, and depending on the setup, people can live there or work with like-minded people. Just to a few of the examples that I found that I'm also interviewing. So here, once more, we see like how distributed the embassies and consulates are in the world. Just first example, I take the Vollstadt studios in Barcelona, which is very interesting. The owner, Tycho Corrals, inviting hackers to also join the space to have a sort of synthesis between crypto anarchists. So you see like people just having like experimenting with how they use their spaces and to maybe even use the BitNation community as inspiration for their own things, and to merge the ideas of what they want to achieve. Furthermore, in Bratislava, there's the Progress Bar, which is also a hackerspace where, people from the Crypto Anarchy Institute, but also from all over the world come and work together or work individually on their own crypto projects. And I mean, the interesting thing is that people just choose to use BitNation not just for themselves, but to, let's say, have a sort of synthesis with other people that also want to implement their ideas, but somehow they come to a new ground where they much bigger than what they thought it would be. And finally, the embassy in Istanbul is also an interesting case of our refugee program, because lots of refugees were passing through Turkey, and stateless refugees could also use BitNation embassies as a sort of intermediary solution on how to get by until they get a place where they can stay safe. At the same time, they could learn from hackers on how to use BitNation tools to get their ID, to get dispute resolution. So like once again, we see how different groups come together and help each other. But apart from being goodwill ambassadors, the BitNation ambassador network could be something else. It could be also representative of the BitNation citizens in the legacy states that we're living in, because unfortunately we're not just living in virtual states, but we're also living in geographical territories where we face trouble. And ideally, BitNation ambassadors could negotiate with nation-state representatives to, for example, help them when they're detained for no reason at all, or when they have visa or any legal problems. Ambassadors could help them in these situations, but also to just get by, to find the embassy, or yeah, to just have someone to talk to in the places they travel to, because BitNation is about being international, being borderless. And ideally, the BitNation, the real ambassadors will be educated in international law. Will be able to negotiate with bodies like the UN and with nation states on how to treat BitNation citizens in the most fair manner, and they will have to be educated in Vienna Convention, which is one of the fundamental bases of international law. Claim self-determination, claim, let's say, the independence of these BitNation citizens. So apart from that, the ambassador network should also enable people to start their own projects on top of the Pangea platform. And we were thinking about different approaches to this problem. So one approach would be to use Considerate, where people can just vote on different governance projects, and depending on the number of people who vote and on the percentage they get for each project, some funds could be automatically unleashed Ether wallet. But this is, let's say, also, even though it reduces the administration costs, this approach is still lost. And another approach that we found would be to use the Backfeed protocol to allow ambassadors and local DApp entrepreneurs to create their own projects and to just start by starting. They can start doing their work and at the same time create new sub-tokens that could be traded with pet tokens. And the more people think that this is something interesting and worth achieving and worth supporting, people will start to change pet tokens into these sub-tokens, and the more their tokens raise in value, the more they can do with this. So yeah, it is, let's say, a much more decentralized approach of starting your own project and your endeavors. And yeah, we hope that ambassadors all over the world will start their own regional projects without having to rely on any centralized institutions. So, yeah, thank you so much for your attention, and that's it for now.
Up to now,